A very good afternoon to you, ladies and gentlemen, comrades and friends. On behalf of the Green Revolution, I would want to welcome you all to our press conference. But before I go any further, I would want to introduce to you those who are with me today. My name is Tsenengamu Godfrey. I'm the national coordinator for the movement. To my left, we have Msengezi. He's one of us in the movement, one of our key organizers in the movement. And to my right, we have Tinai Mbabari. She's the coordinator for Harare province. Then we have Mike on the extreme left, who is also one of us in the movement. So before I get into the details of the press conference, I would want to say I'm sorry for coming a little bit late. I think I've been delayed by, 15 minutes or so. So I have to say I'm sorry for not coming in time. And then hope that we'll correct that as we go. Yeah, so comrades, you saw an advert yesterday calling for today's press conference, which we are going to hold under the theme Zimbabwe at Crossroads, the way forward. On the 25th of May, we came up with an initiative, the Green Revolution. And we came up with that movement and named it the Front for Economic Emancipation in Zimbabwe. People have said a lot about the movement. Some saying, no, it's a political party, this and that. A lot of issues have been coming up. So before I get to the details of why we have to gather, I would want to say FEES is not a political party. The Green Revolution is not a political movement. It's not. So you may want to know what FEES is. FEES is an inclusive, non-partisan, radical, and militant economic movement of the citizens that seeks to confront corruption, ensure transparency and accountability, offer practical economic empowerment opportunities to the masses, and provide alternative economic solutions to the communities. That is what FEES is. So let it be clear here and now that FEES is not a political party. We are citizens coming from diverse backgrounds who would want to see a corrupt-free and prosperous Zimbabwe in their lifetime. We have different political backgrounds, so that is who we are. And what is it that we seek to achieve as FEES? We seek to unite, mobilize, organize, and represent all the citizens of Zimbabwe, either resident or non-resident, regardless of political, ethnic, gender, social, religion, or academic status, in achieving an economically developed, prosperous, and corrupt-free Zimbabwe. confront, oppose, and seek to deliver Zimbabwe from corruption, social injustice, underdevelopment, economic stagnation, poverty, patronage, discrimination, economic exclusion, manipulation, and marginalization. We want to ensure equal and unhindered access to national resources and opportunities by all the citizens of Zimbabwe, and ensure equitable distribution of the same across Zimbabwe. So in brief, this is who we are. Bring together all progressive Zimbabweans so that we can preserve and protect national resources from planned and exploitation by parasitic global and local capitalists, their agents, and imperial forces, and preserve the same for posterity. This is what fees is all about. And some would say, why green? Why green? Not pink, not yellow, not orange. This is the question that we have been coming across since the 25th of May. So if you want to understand the rationale behind the choice of the green color, this is the explanation. For us, green is a color that depicts a lot of meanings, but among them, green symbolizes and represents the following. It represents growth, harmony, freshness, fruitfulness, healing, health, life, renewal, rebirth, resurrection, restoration, nature. It also represents energy, balance, and tranquility. So we are that movement that seeks now to find ways of growing our communities, our economy, of bringing harmony, uniting the people, bringing fruitfulness to Zimbabwe and all its citizens, of bringing about restoration and resurrection of our dead community and our dead economy. We are a movement that is seeking a renewal and a rebirth of our communities. So this is why we had to go for the color green. We know there are some who thought maybe we subscribe to the other green revolutions or green movements. No, we are Zimbabweans, so we are defining our own revolution in terms of our situation and circumstances. So now coming to the issue that is before us, Zimbabwe at crossroads, the way forward. Comrades, I don't need to lecture anyone on the situation and crisis that we find ourselves in. If we are to be realistic as a people, whether you are a student, you are a vendor, you are a miner, you are a farmer, you are a journalist, you are a doctor, you are a lawyer, you are a war veteran, you are a youth, you are women, the disabled, the academia, and everyone else, even in the security sector, everyone knows the magnitude of the crisis that we find ourselves in. Whether you are in Zanu-PF or you are in MDC, whether you are a vanguard or you are a Murakash, every one of us knows the problem that we are facing as a country. So I am not going to spend much of my time trying to explain or justify why we say we have a crisis. Maybe for some reasons, yes, you may be in denial and want to create false comfort zone for yourself. But deep down your heart, you know very well that indeed we're in a crisis. We are in a worse situation than we were before November 2017. That is a fact. Politically, socially, and economically. And the problem that we are facing are cross-cutting. They don't know whether or not Pamberi or not Hezokobra. You get in the same fuel queues, except for a few who are up there. And when I was part of them, yes, I didn't queue for fuel. I just got my coupon, or go to a service station and get it. But the general citizen knows not less than 3-4 days of sleeping in a queue to get fuel. When your account is accredited with your salary, the first thing that we have to do is to call for a friend and ask, so that you are then able to go and buy money on the black market. Salary evanu yakwizwa 50%, fuel yakwira 150%. And the effects of that do not know of any boundary. Ukaenda kushipatana the same. Go to Southampton, where our tobacco farmers are gathered. For days they've been there, not being able to access their monies. Queuing at the banks. Here in town, that's the order of the day. This is the situation that we find ourselves in. Policy inconsistencies. Today they say you can get your forex from the bank. The next day they will say no, you won't be able to get it. You get it into your account, not as physical US dollar. The following day they say something else. We have liberalized the forex market. No, we have brought in an auction system. No, we have a fixed rate. This is the situation that we find ourselves in as a country. Whether you are Zanu-PF or MDC, this is not discriminating. Tribalism, regionalism, nepotism is evident everywhere. In the political parties and worse in central government, worse than it was before November 2017. You may hate Tsenengamu, yes, and I'm not asking you to like me. There's no reason. But you cannot run away from these facts. We were here the last time with my colleague. We mentioned 3 people. We are accused of being corrupt. And people asked us for evidence. The next thing, we were booted out of the party. Like for my colleague, he's still in there. I'm not sure if it's lucky or something, but he's still there, which is okay. But before 2 weeks or even a month, Tafazo was dragged before Parliament, asked to account for the millions that he got. He could not account for that. Billy Rottenberg released a statement saying, no, we don't have a monopoly, things like that. And people said, no. And Tsenengamu mnopenga. And suda kuti nditaure kuti tashika papi nina we ithano ya Billy. And you ask yourself kuti, why mandatory blending? When in the first place we were told that blending so that it's cheaper. But looking at what Zera told us, released to the public, the internal charge pushed the petrol price to where it is. 150% rise in terms of fuel price. And you ask yourself, how did Billy got that tender? Why are we being forced to do this? Is it Billy alone? If Billy was alone, why would then someone or some people be quick to dismiss us from the party for criticizing a monopoly or what we believe is an unjust act by an individual who is not a member of the party? They have to do that. Why? Because Billy is a friend of the leaders. He's a friend. He boasts about it. Go and ask people in Chisumbanje, they'll tell you that. At one point, he also tried to come and evict people from Kambuzuma, the Joshua Nkomo cooperative, because he has political connections to the powers that be. The villagers, how he is treating them. Why? Because he enjoys protection from the authorities. This is the reason why they had to chase us out of the party for challenging Billy. Because for them, it was not about Billy. In a way, we had pointed a finger at them and they had to act. Billy is one of them in their ways, in their corrupt ways. Kuda was tried to all his best to avoid going to parliament. Why? He didn't want to account for the command agriculture funds. You know, you have been reading about the Zupco deal. Those buses coming from Belarus and the involvement of his company, Landela Investments, which I mentioned here. I talked about Landela. I talked about Sotik. I talked about Punjab. Bringing in the buses without paying any taxes, saying they belong to the government, when it is, in fact, it is a scheme that also involves some of our leaders, those in government, those in the ruling party. They had to act after we said something about him because he is the sponsor of the party. He pays salaries for those in the party. The party has got no viable companies. They long collapsed. He bought those cars in the party. He provides fuel in the party. So the party has been captured. No one can say anything and expect kindness from the leadership. So, we have heard, and we are very grateful to the likes of Hopi Ochimono, the likes of Elias Mambo, and many other journalists, including yourselves, maybe some, not all of you. Because some of you still try to spin things, try to come up with the narratives to defend dirty things. So, we are very grateful to those guys and some of you who have taken it upon themselves. You have taken it upon yourselves to let the world know the truth about what is happening, especially around the COVID issues. The drugs scandal, the COVID gate. The head of state comes out to say, we have received a donation from drugs. He says, I made a personal appeal to drugs, and they donated goods worth 60 million US dollars. It's there for everyone to see. And unfortunately, we are hearing that they are trying to victimize the cameramen who, according to them, had to find a way to sneak the video into the news bulletin, and they exposed the head of state. That's what we are hearing. And it comes out that what was said to be a donation was not a donation. It was a tender which was given to drugs unprocedurally. And there are allegations that my brother, Collins, is part of the scam. And what does Collins do? He releases a statement. And all the comrades have to rush all over social media. Here's the statement from Collins. Here's the statement from Collins. And what happens next? You have pics of Delish with the Collins everywhere. And he says, no, I don't know this person. I have no relationship with this person. Are we that dumb? Do you take us for fools? That you think you can run away from the truth by just releasing a statement? And you think we are foolish to believe that? No. We know you are involved. But for some reasons, you had to sacrifice Delish. Delish is the sacrificial lamb. DJ Biscuit was given preferential treatment, VIP arrest. A big thief. When the police are dragging vendors and touts, when they are arresting and harassing Makorokoza, arresting people for expressing their views, but they give special treatment to Obadiah Moyo, who comes to court in a convoy, ready to pay fine for a case which was not even before the courts, with $50,000 of bond notes, $2 bond notes, when in fact an ordinary citizen would require 50 weeks, almost a year, to get that amount. But when Moyo went to court, he already had that cash with him. Who told him that he was going to be admitted on bail? Who told him that he was going to be given 50,000 bail? And you think we don't see this? Delish is still in police in custody. He has been denied bail. Those 3 girls accused of having committed a crime by having a march during COVID and faking an abduction as they allege. I'm not sure. I don't have the details. But my worry is they are still locked up. So their crime is so big that they must rot in remand together with Delish. But Uncle Moyo had to be given the VIP treatment and he is out on bail. Former Director of State Residencies, Tafuma, languished in prison. He was denied bail for allegedly bringing in cars without paying duty. He was sentenced, but Uncle Moyo is out. Why? We are told he is related to the president. We are not sure, but we have been reading and looking at how he has been treated. We have every reason to believe that Moyo is a first-class citizen and the rest of us are second-class citizens. The administration has been so effective in arresting pickpockets and promoting thieves and looters. Okay. So, you journalists are going to continue to expose this corruption that has been happening. You go to Zach. Zach tells you we are going to treat these issues differently. The way we treat this small thief and the way we are going to treat this big thief is going to be different. These are respectable people in our society. So we'll ask them to come to court and we'll take this one into police custody. I'm not sure if we're going to allow that. So, exposing corruption and the rot that is happening in government, is that enough? The Auditor General's report is there. In my hood, and I also saw a post yesterday from one lady, Rumbi, or something saying, we don't have what do you call it? A transformer in our area. But we went through the Auditor General's report. It says Pito Investments was paid millions of US dollars around 2010 or so. To this day, they've not even submitted or delivered a single transformer. So, the issue is, what is the way forward? Who is going to save us? Who is going to stop the bleeding? Who is going to take us to the promised land? Is it ED? Is it Nero? Is it Zanu-PF? Or the MDC? Is it APA? Who is going to redeem us? Who is going to give us a life as a people? The conditions that prevailed during the liberation struggle, that prompted our parents to rise up and fight against Smith and his regime, I think currently those conditions exist. Simon Muzenda was arrested for reciting a poem which says, One andanyakasikana kunozova rini isivanyaiti chitambudzika mweya unoera, kunozova rini kuisivanyaiti chidzvinyirirwa, koingataneta wani nokunwa misodzi, toshirira kudzamara kuve rinhiko, inga miti panguva yechando inozvizorodza, inokuumuka mashizha yombowana rudekaro, yozoti mukuchena kwekunzi yodembera, mashizha yova nenenhere inoyevedza shiri nemhuka nenyuchi dzokwezva nehwemba kweisu rugare ruchatisvika riniko. The poem goes on to say, vana vacheche vatinobereka vanova vakatipa semasimba vaniva ndivo vadyi venhaka dzedu vokura vakasunzumara munyika yekwavo voshaya nzvimbo dzekurarama nekuzvidekadza pano neapo pazere rufuse makumbo avo ave nematuzu nekungopfuviswa neriri pfumo jena vachasvike piko. I'll skip another stance in the interest of time, and it goes on to say, pfuma yenyika nhasi yakatorwa vakagovana paukama hwavo vepfumo jena. Nhasi vari kudya mafuta ayo nyika, isu tichidya nhoko dzezvironda. Nhasi vari kudya vakora sehochi, isu toondoroka sembwa ine gwembe. Nhasi vagere murusununguko, isu tongodzepwa pauro namajoto. Ko rusununguko nehanda ndorupiko. That was the poem recited by the late Dr. Mzee, and Smith had to arrest him for just reciting that poem. I think that poem applies today. Pfuma yenyika vatora vagovana, and all we are doing is kuchema pa Facebook, kuchema pa WhatsApp, kuchema pa Twitter. And you never win that war on Twitter, Facebook, and WhatsApp. Because there is a group of people vakatogadzirwa to spin propaganda. And I've seen some of them, they are in here. To tell the world that all is well, it shall be well. Be patient. When it's not. So, we have held these press conferences over and over again. I've seen some this morning were trying to say, zvakaitwa kudrugs kana kuLondon zvakaitika futi. Saka kana mchitaura drugs zivaipo kuperera. Because they say it has happened in the UK, so it must also happen here. Oh my brother, this is Zimbabwe. We are going to deal with our own situation here in Zimbabwe. So people have been saying we need to act. Others have been saying, do we need another November 2017? Some would come out and say, Zanu-PF must go. Others are saying it is because of the MDC sanctions. And others say, no, it is because of the rampant corruption in Zanu-PF. Some say, no, we must have a new leadership. And others say, no, the leadership is not a problem. Let's just deal with corruption. And others say, no, let's deal with the political problems that are bedeviling this country before we talk of any economic programs. Before we talk of industrialization, before we talk of anything, let's deal with the political problems before us. So, there is no common position among Zimbabweans in terms of the way forward. We are at the crossroads. Even all of us here, in this small room, if you are going to start to discuss how we got ourselves to where we are and how we are going to extract ourselves out of this mess, we are not going to agree. Why? Because you are going to argue on the basis of your political affiliation. To say, because I belong to Zanu-PF. So if you say Zanu-PF is corrupt, I'm going to defend. And surely you defend. Others will say, no, MDC is not to blame. You invited the sanctions. And these will say, no, you people are whatever. We accuse each other. So politics has failed us. Politics has divided us. We no longer believe in ourselves. We believe in personalities. And the political parties of late have become personality cults. People are not gathering around a cause. They are not coalescing around a cause, but they are coalescing around individuals. So we have allowed the thirst for power by certain individuals who want it or those who want to protect it to divide us as Zimbabweans. When in fact, vakuru vedu whether ndeve Zanu-PF or MDC, amai pavakabuda vachifusha muriwo, vakatotorwa picture, kutoita pose yekufusha muriwo, because vai actor, that's not her life, ku actor. Amai vako havamboda kutorwa picture yekufusha muriwo kumusha, because that's her life. She lives that every day. And when vakuru vakange vese across the parties, mumwe akakwira kombe anofanira kutorwa picture, akaonekwa ari kumwe achidya sadza anoda kutorwa picture because vari ku-actor life. That's not their life. Kana akatouya muqueue anofanira kuuya nemajournalists. When in fact iwewe unoto kumba kwako hauchatovati uchitorara muqueue uchitsvaga, ivo vanotouya vachiactor nemi majournalists muchitora mapicture. Ubva akandwa kunzi amaonere leader wedu is humble, humility at its best, nekuti vaonekwa muqueue. So we have allowed politics to divide us. And we cannot push the same cause as a people. Izvo zvamwe venyu pano munenge muchiti no Tsenengamu project yani. Okay? I'm 38. I'm a family man. And you still think I need someone who is not living the life and kurarama kuti andirane. Madhiri ayo takaita kudhara. Zvikatobuda mustaira. Tikarwisa ana Joyce. Tikarwisa ana Grace na ana Kasukuwere. Hatichaita madhiri wayo kana mimi muchiri kuita henyu. Hatichaita cause hazvina dhiri. Hazvina future yenyika ino, future yevana vangu. We are coming out as young people to rescue future yevana vedu. So chii chatakuita from here. What is the way forward? For the next 10 days, we are going to start a conversation, start dialogue amongst us as the citizens. We have been waiting for too long to see if our politicians were genuine. ED says, recognize me as a legitimate president. Nero says, you are illegitimate. This one says, come to Poland. And that one says, I want a bilateral. Why? Because ED says, I got 2.4 million votes. And you got 2.1. And he says, no, I got 2.6. I defeated you. If you look at their numbers, both of them, whether 2.6 or 2.1, 2.4 or whatever, what percentage is that of the total population of Zimbabwe? So you think you can hold us at ransom because of 2 million votes? Both of you. Kutotuona unge tiri vanhu venyu, kutotita zvireshe zvenyu. Zvekuti muri kuti no nyika ino inofanira kutostika. Kusvika imimi mumwe nemumwe amita ma conditions emumwe. No, it's not going to happen. There is nothing special about you guys. Nothing at all. When we brought in ED, we never thought we would find ourselves in this situation. We thought we would be better. than we were in 2017. But it's even worse. So what guarantee do we have that even if one of you becomes a leader, you are going to extract us from this mess? What guarantee do we have? You want to take advantage of our situation. Others are already planning for 2023 elections. Others are still mourning about the stolen 2018 election. So the preoccupation of the leadership in the two major political parties is power. Acquisition of power or protection of it. So what does that mean to the ordinary person? We must start a dialogue amongst ourselves as citizens. If politicians are going to come and be part of this dialogue, they are going to come in as ordinary people. If they are serious that they would want to take this country forward, we are just giving them the next 10 days to either shape up or ship out, and will no longer be looking up to them. What that then means is we are going to do things on our own as citizens, because we are the ones who are being affected. Nero and ED are not being affected. In one of the Politburos, ED said, let's start preparing for 2023. He wants to be elected in 2023 when he has not yet delivered on anything. Even if you go through his letter that he wrote when he was in exile, he has not done anything in that letter. I don't think he still wants to read it himself. And what does those in the opposition do? All they are calling for are political reforms that will enable them to win 2023 elections. So these people are concentrating on wanting to get power and protect it. No one cares about the situation in our hospitals, the situation in our roads, the situation in our schools, the situation everywhere in our economy. So what I'm saying in short is, it is high time that citizens realize that we are on our own and we have to liberate ourselves out of this mess. Politicians do not have any special brain that the generality of the people do not have. They don't. They are not special in any way. So, the plan of action is as this. We are going to have a conversation as citizens in the next 10 days, till the 6th of July. In our small groups, let's have that conversation in the churches, mumazupko, kwatiri kuvenda, kuchikorokoza, kuvarimi, everywhere, and say, how are we going to extract ourselves out of this situation? During that period, we are also going to ask the authorities to address us as a nation, to tell us their plan, to tell us what they are doing to address our situation. We cannot afford to get to 2023 with this bleeding. It has to stop. ED, when asked by Tatenda Mabetera about what he's going to do, he says, I do not even know what I'm supposed to do. Over corruption, he has no idea. So even if we continue to expose, the leadership has no clue. Maybe because in a way they are involved, I'm not sure. So, from the 7th of July to the 10th of July,